Deadrock is back, and we do not take off at where we left off. Instead, we are now back in class with the monkey. And he's actually sending them off to do some work. They all question if this is reasonable, because this is technically a school, but he points out to them that this is actually normal. Apparently, people throughout the underworld hire students from Deadrock to handle certain missions. There's a high possibility that this is just a lie, because of what happens later in the chapter, but that's the claim he's making, at least. An old lady who lives in the Deep Cry Forest apparently wants them to take care of some bandits that are causing her trouble. Choco immediately realizes that there's only one old lady living in that specific forest, and apparently it's a great wizard named Magi, apparently some kind of lizard woman. Choco is now super excited about this for two reasons. One, I'm assuming she's a huge fan of hers, because, you know, she's descended from a dark wizard, and so Choco is a wizard herself. But also, apparently, the book that they stole from the library, God's Secrets, yeah, that can't be opened. When Yakuto tried to open it, it just couldn't budge. Apparently, there's a magic seal on it, and so the rest of the class give awful suggestions on how to break the seal on the book. This is just burning it, which would destroy it because it's a book, cutting it, which would destroy it because it's a book, and killing it, which doesn't make sense because it's not alive, it's a book. So apparently everyone's just a one-trick pony when it comes down to it. And so that means this old lady is their best bet in unlocking the seal. Obviously, this is a trap. In fact, Yakuto even points out that this is clearly a trap, but Choco's too excited to meet the old bag. So they push forward. The Deep Cry Forest is about as creepy and horrific as I thought it would be. I really like the aesthetic, because it isn't just a simple forest, it's like a strip swamp with just poisonous gas everywhere, rotting, decaying trees, just covered in serpents with one eye. It really looks cool, I like it. So as they're wandering around, they happen upon a gate. Apparently, these gates are used to travel through the different floors of the underworld. The reason for this is because each floor of the underworld is just massive, and so it would take miles upon miles of walking to get from one entrance to another, even if you knew where that entrance was to the next floor. So the best way to go is through these gates. But even then, you have to get a pass for a specific gate that goes to a specific floor, which is how everyone except for Choco got to floor 666, because Choco was born on floor 666. The odd thing about this gate is that it's rotted away, and it just looks like it was just thrown into the forest as junk. For what reason? We don't know, because we don't actually know where this gate leads. Most likely, this will be a mystery solved later on in the story, where they have to come back, get this gate, restore it, and then it will teleport them to the birthplace of God, or whatever, like God's origin, and that's where they'll find God's real weakness. At least that's what I think the gate's gonna end up being used for. But that's several chapters down the line. Right now, we get attacked by the bandits who shoot arrows. Honey gets destroyed again. Not a big deal because he's a clay pot. They'll just put him back together again. Poorly. Poor Honey. As for the rest of them, they don't really do much because Makoto forms an army of zombies that rip out of the ground, because obviously in this forest there's going to be a fuck ton of dead people. And for the most part, the zombies just kill everyone. The stragglers get wiped out by everyone else, obviously, but for the most part, the bandits are wiped out by the zombies. It's not a big deal. So yay, the mission's over. They're done. All we gotta do is just report to the old lady. So they go to her house, and she's there, completely crucified and dead, pinned to her front door. Choco starts crying because someone that she's looked up to this whole time is dead, and that's the first time she gets to meet her. So she starts to cry, she then immediately tells Makoto to turn into a zombie so she can unseal the book. But that does not happen because the good old vice principal shows up and smashes the corpse, once again making it impossible to create a zombie. So yeah, this was a trap to get them out there so he could steal the book. What a surprise. I just think it's funny the fact that he lured them out there to get the book instead of just attacking them in the school, because he doesn't want God to find out that he fucked up. So this whole obvious trap was put together so he didn't get his ass killed by God. It has nothing to do with taking out this class. It's just self-preservation at this point. Yakuto realizes they ain't getting away from this, and so that means they're gonna have to fight this guy to the death. I don't know how that's gonna work, because none of them are strong enough to kill this dude, and I know they're not, because Hyene's strongest attack, all it did was just cause a cut across the dude's face. In fact, the vice president wasn't even at his full power yet, because we actually see him at his full power. He transforms into his giant mode, which tells me that each of these people has the ability to transform into their ancestral blood, because Yakuto transformed into a black dragon, which means the only way they're beating this guy is if one of them unlocks their ancient powers. So either Makoto is going to turn into a lich, or Frye is going to transform into a Ignant, which is basically a fire demon. I don't see how any of them are going to win this fight, because Yakuto can't turn into his black dragon form, because that was sucked out of him in very inappropriate ways. I will laugh my ass off if Honey transforms into Thor, because if that happens, that would be the fucking coolest thing ever. But I see that being the least likely thing happening at this moment, because that wouldn't make him a target for God, god if he transformed into a god himself, because that seems to be what God does. He kills other gods. So yeah, I think the way they're going to beat this dude is by one of them unlocking their ancestral blood, which will be Makoto, I think. I think she's going to transform into a full-on lich. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give a thumbs up so you enjoy more Deadrock and other main things. Thank you, and have a great day.